Today's topic deals with adult themes of sexual assault and rape. Crude and adult language will be used. Viewer discretion is advised. Harvey Weinstein, Robert Kelly, Kevin Spacey, Louis C.K. These men are now synonymous with a movement that's been around since 2006, but took hold in the American and now ultimately worldwide conscious space in 2017. Me Too. Two words that represents what women across the globe have been fighting for. A world where they don't have to leave strands of hair in the Uber car just in case something happens. A world where they don't have to watch their drinks at social gatherings or have to photograph landmarks as the journey is made. A world where women don't have to teach other women how to survive with tips that men largely don't think about. Where screaming fire gets more of a response than screaming rape. Today we take a deep dive into the darkness, the worst part of human society. Take this journey with me as we discuss the fears and reality of women everywhere, where sexual assault is all too true, made a reality. However, all is not lost. The Me Too movement gave women the power they've been fighting for and continue to fight for. If you're ready, then it's time to ask a black dude. Let me take you back in time. It's 2017. I'm 20 pounds lighter with the world in my hand. As most men that year, we had no idea what was coming. A hurricane had hit land and it was coming for predators everywhere. Harvey Weinstein, a powerful producer and influencer in Hollywood, was just arrested and charged with rape. The world trembled. It had begun. Later, Weinstein was found guilty in 2018 and sentenced to 23 years in prison. Kevin Spacey, a famous actor with hit movies and shows, was fired due to his admittance of forcing himself on a minor. The ground shook again. Louis C.K., comedian and actor, was accused by several women of sexual misconduct, including, but not limited to, masturbating in front of them, once into a potted plant. Charlie Rose was fired by CBS and PBS after accusations of crude sexual advances. Jerry Richardson, former owner of the Carolina Panthers, sold his team after an NFL-led investigation into sexual harassment of his female employees. Robert Kelly, noted singer and artist, was once again arrested and charged with sexual abuse. He still carries the stain of the 2008 trial where the video of him urinating on a minor surfaced. The Netflix special Surviving R. Kelly was a rough watch, to say the least. He faces 10 counts of sexual abuse against women, 3 of them minors. But did you feel that? With each and every powerful man taken down, the earth shook, and men, well, some men, were shaken out of their apathy. Me Too is the sword women use to slice through the darkness. Please forgive me, I haven't done my job as an educator. For those who don't know, the Me Too movement is a social movement originating among women advocating for survivors of sexual harassment and violence to speak out in order to expose and combat various forms of sexual misconduct. That was Webster's definition. Mine? The Me Too movement is where women became tired of the bullshit. Tarana Burke was the first to use Me Too as a slogan in 2006 on MySpace. That's pre-Facebook for those who do not know, for the kids. Herself, a sexual harassment survivor turned activist. As powerful as Me Too was at the time, it wasn't until Alyssa Milano, Rose McGowan, Uma Thurman, and other celebrity women started using Me Too as a slogan. In October 2017, the hashtag Me Too was used 4.7 million times on Facebook in the first 24 hours. Women of all creeds and nationalities joined forces to fight a well-known enemy. It was honestly a beautiful thing to see. Women, despite social status, fighting for the same cause. As activist Charlene Carruthers stated, if wealthy, high-visible women are being assaulted and raped, what do you think is happening to the women in retail, food service, and domestic work? Well, Miss Charlene, I think an earthquake just happened. I think the world has begun to change. Now let me attack the all too familiar justifications that women have had to hear far too often and for far too long. Boys will be boys. She shouldn't have been wearing that. She was asking for it. Enough is enough. Sexual assault is not a rite of passage for boys to be men. It's a tool used by weak men trying to gain control. It's less about just sex and more about a coward trying to either get power or keep it. There is no excuse for it. None. Period. Let me not continue to just give you my thoughts. For those who try not to believe what women have been saying for decades, let me enlighten you with some facts. Fact. 1 out of every 6 American women has been the victim of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime. Fact. The ages of 12 to 34 are the highest risk years for rape and sexual assault. Fact. In 8 out of every 10 cases of sexual assault, the victim knew the person. Fact. 21% of transgender college students have been sexually assaulted. Fact. Healthcare is 16% higher for women who were sexually abused as children. Are you disgusted yet? Does your skin crawl as these numbers hit your mind? If yes, then good. That's what it's meant to do. If no, then let me continue. Maybe this will change your mind. 1 in 4 girls will be abused before they turn 18. 34% of people who sexually abuse a child are family members. 12 to 14. That's the average age of girls who become victim of prostitution. Only 12% of child sexual abuse is reported to authorities. Unfortunately, race does have its role in this play as well. Over 18% of African American women will be assaulted in her lifetime. For every 15 black women that are assaulted and raped, only 1 will report her assault. But let's not stop there. Native American women are twice as likely to experience an assault or to be raped in comparison to other races, with 41% of assaults committed by a stranger and 59% committed by either an acquaintance or a family member. These numbers, while staggering, are honestly low. Women, for various reasons, don't report these crimes against them, as rape is the most underreported crime. A mind-blowing 63% of sexual assaults are not reported to police. But why? Why does a crime so heinous go unreported? It's simple, really. Because in a world and a system controlled largely by men, we don't believe them. We take the path of, well, there are false reports, even though only 2 to 10% of rape reports are false. Or a worse path, the justice system betrays them, leaving women feeling alone. Now you might say, Lamont, like when? When has this happened? Well, I'm glad you asked. I gave you a taste of the famous names, the rich and powerful. It took years to bring them down, but surely those with less money and prestige can't get away with the cruelty of sexual assault. I wish even that was the case. As I stated before, women feel largely alone when it comes to sexual assault in the justice system. I introduced Brock Turner. In 2015, a then 19-year-old Turner, while attending Stanford University, assaulted 22-year-old Chanel Miller while she was unconscious. Turner was arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony rape, 2 counts of felony sexual assault, and 1 felony count for attempted rape. Brock Turner was found guilty. Yay! However, Santa Clara County Superior Court Judge Aaron Persky sentenced Turner to 6 months in jail, followed by 3 years probation. Of those 6 months, Mr. Turner only served 3. He was released for good behavior. How about Nicholas Fiffield, who in 2016 sexually assaulted a woman with mental handicaps? Nicholas, then 18, convinced the group home she was staying at, they had met online, through an online dating site, to allow him to take her to the movies. Instead, Fiffield took her to his house and forced her to perform oral sex. Fiffield was arrested. Yay again. Charged with 3rd-degree felony sex abuse of a person suffering from a mental defect or incapacity which precludes giving consent, considering she suffered from autism and dissociative identity disorder, as well as other things. In Iowa, that comes with a 10-year prison sentence. Alas, yet again, justice was not served, as Polk County Prosecutor John Saccone accepted a lesser plea from Fiffield. Saccone did not pursue any jail time, saying, and I quote, "Prison would not do this kid any good." End quote. Lastly, Austin Wilkerson, who in 2014 sexually assaulted an intoxicated freshman at the University of Colorado, telling her friends he would take care of her. Wilkerson was arrested. Yay. And at the time of his hearing, his victim said this: "When I'm not having nightmares about the rape, retaliation, or retrial going awry, I'm having panic attacks. Some days I can't even get out of bed." Sadly, she joins the 81% of women who report having short-term or long-term PTSD. 33% of women who've been assaulted contemplate suicide. 13% have attempted it. By now, you have seen and you know the end of this movie. Judge Patrick Butler said he struggled with the idea of putting Wilkerson in jail. Instead, he sentenced them to 20 years probation and 2 years in a work prison release program. Look, these are just the tip of an unjust iceberg. An iceberg the Me Too movement began and still melts with its heat. In today's day and age, we as humans, more we as Americans, have to think before we say anything or do anything. The pushback has been predictable. I say we need to take a heartbeat to think before acting, to truly understand that no in every form means no. That women are not objects to be used merely for pleasure or control. They are your mothers, your daughters, sisters, and wives. They are the powerful creatures put here not to be behind you, but next to you, as a true partner. Please, men, let us do our part and teach each other and the next generation what is truly right and wrong, so that maybe, just maybe, women can have a future where they don't have to teach each other to pee or vomit to avoid being assaulted. A future where wearing headphones at night doesn't have to end in a tragedy, or having to tell everyone where they're at while going on a date. A future where women can be what they've always wanted to be. Powerful and equal. This has been Ask a Black Dude. See you on the next one.